obviously came up one spot short, which in a race like this is all that matters. So, you know, just kind of the timing of the runs, I thought it was great racing. The cars are maybe a little bit, I mean, just a tiny bit more responsive than they were last year, but obviously if the field gets up by the wall, it's pretty tough to make a move. But all in all, I thought it was pretty good racing. This format is great for plate racing, and I thought it was a decent night. But obviously, if you're not winning in a race like this, it's really kind of irrelevant. None of that stuff matters. So.
Joining us now is our third-place finisher. It's Kyle Busch. He drove the number 18 M&M's Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. Kyle, maybe just talk about how things went out there tonight for the number 18 Toyota.
I don't know. I guess it was all right. We had some excitement out there, and other than that, just, you know, it was an interesting race there at the end, just with so few cars. Certainly, of course, the side draft always comes into play here, but with so few cars, you know, I think that's ultimately effective tool to use. But I don't know, it was kind of dull there early, you know, single file stuff going on. It really started mixing up, got side by side towards the end of the first segment, I think, and then you know, of course, we saw big melee that about eliminated everybody in the second part there. But you know, for us, the M&M's Camry was good. I really appreciate the guys, you know, working on it for me after spinning out or not spinning out, however you want to term that, and then carrying on and getting to the end.
Take questions for Brad or Kyle. Raise your hand. We'll come to you. We've got a couple wireless mics. Start right here up here on the front. Go to Tom. We'll go to Stan, and we'll go back here to Lewis.
Thanks, guys. For either one of you, Tom Jensen from FoxSports.com. How much does this really teach you for the 500 since it's in daytime? Is this just getting the rust knocked off, or is it real good indication of what we should expect or what you should expect?
I thought it was a pretty good indication early. You know, the racing that was going on first segment, second segment, until the big crash happened. Then after that, it was nothing to see in this race that you'll see in the 500, hopefully. But other than that, yeah, I mean, I thought there was, like I said, there was some interesting moments where the inside lane actually then started going and guys were trying to make the outside lane go. It seemed like more guys were trying to get the third lane going up against the wall, and that kind of killed the middle lane a little bit, so the bottom more so persevered, and it's kind of opposite of what we normally see with the top, you know. So I thought that was just interesting how that kind of changed dynamically there, and I think it was the second segment.
Go to Stan, Lewis, and then back up to Holly.
Stan Creekmore with RPM tonight. Over here, Brad. The last couple of laps, it seemed like all the help you had previously went away. What were the last two laps like for you? What happened?
Oh, just you know, a couple cars, three cars had good runs: the 18, the 11, and the 22, and the 11 timed his run just perfectly and made the most of it. So you know, it's the end of the race. Everybody's taking their opportunity to win it, and you can't expect any help. Everybody's kind of out for themselves, as they should be.
Yeah, straight back. Louis Frank from Reuters. Kyle, could you take us through your save?
Take my quotes from 2012 and copy paste. Just kidding. No, I have no idea. I really don't know how it all started. I was up top following Logano, or he was coming up in front of me, and I kind of tried to go back low and get a run off the bottom of the racetrack to pass him, and I got clipped and just instantly spun out. But just sort of started doing the same stuff I did then, you know, and a lot of brake, a lot of gas, downshifting, just everything in between. And, you know, it always takes about 2 times to get it kind of squared back up. And once I got going on the apron there, I really didn't even know where straight was on the steering wheel. So I kind of just like was floating my hands, just letting the thing kind of find center by itself. So sometimes you got to let the car do its own job too.
Will that work on I-77?
In the snow, yeah. Yeah, is there still snow? Probably not.
Holly
Go ahead,
Kane,
Holly.
NASCAR.com. My question was similar to that. When you do something like that, we look at it and we're like, how did he do that? Are you ever amazed at some of pulling that off? It's not the first time you've done something. Do you ever think to yourself,
I was just lucky that I didn't get hit. by anybody else. You know, when you start backing back up the racetrack, and if you get hit again, then you're in for a merry-go-round. So that was the lucky part for one. But just being, as long as nobody ever really messes you up again, you can sort of drive through things, I guess. I don't know. I've done it now 3 times, I guess, so I've got experience at it where most others probably don't. But all in all, it turned out I was lucky enough to get through it and make it on and carry on through the race and finish third. Too shy of what I ended up the last time I did that.
Go to Mike, Kenny, Jay, Matt.
Brad, Mike Vega, Boston Globe. Just wanted to get your take on the crash that kind of whittled down the field to half. It seemed like was it an issue of loss of speed because of the side draft? Initially, it seemed like there was some loss of speed on your part, but it seemed like there was some.
I'm sorry, which one are you talking about?
The crash, the big crash.
Yeah, I was quite a ways in front of it, from what I can remember. So,
Right.
The start-finish one? Is that the one you're talking about?
Coming around there.
Logano dumped to 20, so you need to talk to 22, I think. He was in front of it.
He was in front of it, but
Yeah.
was it? But did you have any loss of speed going through there?
no, not that I remember.
Okay.
I was just racing side by side with somebody and looked in my mirror, and there was a big cloud of smoke, and it's quite a ways. So I couldn't tell what happened, to be honest.
For both of you, though, what has been the effect side by side in this configuration of the car?
Well, the cars are different than what they wore in 2012, especially from what they wore in 11. To get rid of the tandem, and part of that package to do so has made the cars to where they're more side draft sensitive, back to kind of what we used to have. Just the difference being that the cars are less sensitive to the left side than what they used to be. So I think that's why you see all the guys running up against the wall whenever they can, and that package has definitely changed the racing here and allowed the cars to stretch out a little bit, which I guess isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it is what it is. I think it's pretty good racing here in this format. So I thought we had a good race.
Let's go to Kenny right here. Kenny had one, and we'll go to Matt, Jay, Bruce.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Kyle, was there any damage at all from the spin, or was the bigger concern just a loss of track position when you had to come in and pit an extra time, it seemed like?
That's awesome. Loss of track position. There were 7 cars, right? I'm sorry, I had to laugh, but no, the car's hurt. Yeah, the nose is pushed way up. I mean, I was just walking by it when it was on its way to the sticks, and the nose was up about 1.5 inches, and the rear tail piece, was half drug, which actually may be an advantage to get rid of that piece, because that thing just slows us down so much, that 2-inch flange underneath the bumper. But other than that, just the nose being up, man, it just kills it so bad. It just slows it down so much, So we pulled some Packer on one of those pit stops that we came in late, and tried to just get it back down some, and I don't know whether that helped or not. I never really felt the splitter touch again, so it's not even a backup car. It's got to go back to the shop and just get cut all off. Yeah.
Let's go to Matt, and then we'll go to Jay, and then Bruce.
Matt Weaver, PopularSpeed.com. This is for both of you guys. There at the end, we saw some pretty wild racing. It looked like you were able to go wherever you wanted to, largely without help. Is that because there were so few cars, or could we see that at the end of the Jules or the 500?
Yeah, I mean, the field was so small, I wouldn't take anything from the second half of the race and say that you would see it in the 500. So, kind of like Kyle said earlier, it was kind of its own deal.
Yeah, it's tough. There's so few cars. The reason we were all racing around and we could go anywhere we want to, there was more space. Less cars, more space. Gives you opportunity to do stupid things, I guess you'd say. So that's about it, really. You won't have that. You can't make moves like that from bottom to top to bottom when there's 30 cars out there.
Go to Jay, then to Bruce.
Jay Pennell with Fox Sports. Could you all walk us through what you saw when the pace car caught on fire? Have you ever seen anything like that? We saw jet dryers. We've seen people steal pace cars, but I mean, walk us through what you guys were thinking while you were in the car.
You were right behind it, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean, when you think you've seen it all, then you see that. it's just never ending. So we've seen wires, we've seen jet dryers. I don't even know what to expect for the 500. It seems like we always find the weirdest thing for the 500. So I just hope nobody was hurt. Doesn't look like they were, but whew, that's an interesting one there. But I couldn't exactly tell what happened. I just saw the whole back half of the car was on fire. I thought it was a race car. And then someone said it was the pace car, and I just couldn't help but start laughing. But what are you going to do? That's racing.
Yeah, I was a half a lap behind, so I didn't get to see it. I just saw the aftermath where two guys were getting out of it. Seemed like they were running for their life, scared of a little fire. Maybe they need fire suits now. Yeah.
Let's go with Bruce.
Kyle, different race, different circumstances next Sunday, but two JGR cars in the top three. Talk a little bit about how strong you guys are going to be, and throw Matt in there next week. How strong you guys will be in the 500.
Yeah, Denny's on a mission, man. He's got I think he lost too much time last year sitting on the sidelines, so he's got some wins to make up for. He won last year, the last race of the year at Homestead, and was quickest in practice by doing what he needed to do to get a quick lap in practice for sitting on the pole for this race tonight, and then he wins tonight. So he's on fire right now. So he's good, he's fast, he's ready. I think he keeps saying he feels good. So it was nice to see us in the 18 be able to rebound and come back and finish third. Now, whether we could have with more cars out there or not, I'm not sure. But it was a little disappointing to see the 20 have their issues that they had there. It would have been nice to have had maybe the 20 or 10 other cars out there to race with. So, but yeah, I think JGR as a whole, we were fast here last year. I think Denny's really shown some speed and some smarts, I guess. He's made some really good moves here in the race tonight.
Go ahead.
Chris Knight, Catchments.com. For both of you guys, can you guys talk about, between practice and the Unlimited tonight, how much you guys are looking forward to the Daytona 500, knowing how the cars handled and produced tonight compared to last year's Daytona 500?
Well, I think you're always looking forward to the Daytona 500. It's the biggest race of the year, and it's an opportunity to really put yourself on the list of the great ones if you can win it. So it's an opportunity and something to get excited for, no matter how the cars drive. But in this particular situation, I think it's very similar to what we had last year. I think the fastest cars will find their way to their front, and hopefully with the best drivers in them.
Looks like we got one more. Finish up with Stan.
Yeah, this is actually for both of you. In listening to television, it appears that there's a critical viewing point in the car where you all can't necessarily see. Are they correct in saying that, and is that something you would like NASCAR to look at?
Well, the cars are hard to see out of, but that's what we get paid for, is to make a hard judgment call in a split second. I think we have to be wary as a sport of childproofing these cars. They should be hard to drive. They should have things that they do that stand out and allow talent to rise to the top. So I'm one of those that's not in favor of childproofing the cars and putting more spoiler on them or more downforce or more whatever. This should be the cream of the crop and the baddest of the bad race car drivers, and you shouldn't have everything handed to you. When you have all that stuff handed to you, where does it stop? Should we put traction control on at Martinsville so you can just push the gas pedal down? They should be hard to drive. That's why it's Cup and it's elite. So, I'm always leery of trying to fix things that probably aren't broken.